In the beginning, before the universe and the world were formed, there was a nothing. All of the cosmic matter and energy was swept away and collected in the dark and the gloomy fog of waves. This is chaos, the first primordial entity that will begin the process of creation. Then, all the components of matter and energy that had been accumulated in the form of chaos gave birth to the next generation of primordial race, which will give birth to creation. First is Gaia, representing Earth, Tartarus, representing the underworld, Eros, representing love, Uranus, representing sky, Pontos, representing sea, Erebus, representing darkness and mist, and Nyx, representing night. Here, Gaia married Uranus until they had the children, the Titans. Apart from Titans, they also have other children, such as 𝙏𝙤𝙚𝙤𝙤 and Cyclops. 𝙏𝙤𝙚𝙚𝙤 is a giant humanoid creature that has 100 of arms, so it's called 100-armed monster, while Cyclops is a one-eyed giant. Unfortunately, Uranus hates his children, especially Cyclops and 𝙏𝙤𝙚𝙚𝙏, who are most hated for their ugly appearance and physique. Make Uranus disgusted, until he finally locked his son in Tartarus. Gaia, the mother of Earth, is so sad and angry with his husband's actions. For revenge, she forged a great scythe, the weapon that will offer to her husband Uranus. Gaia plans to give this weapon to her children, who have not been imprisoned, the Titans, because indeed they don't have ugly physique like the 𝙏𝙤𝙚𝙚𝙏 and Cyclops, but still Uranus never has affection for his children. All the Titans dare not fight Uranus, except for Kronos, the youngest Titan. As the youngest Titan, Kronos was initially ignored by his parents, who even had trouble recalling his name. He wanted to prove himself as superior to his elder brothers in any possible way. While growing up, Kronos would frequently resort to dirty cunning and dirty fighting tactics while wrestling his elder brothers. He also wanted to show them that even though being the smallest, it didn't mean he couldn't do the job. So that's why Kronos had more courage than his brothers even though he was the youngest Titan, especially daring to oppose his father Uranus, who was a primordial race that was almost impossible to defeat. Gaia entices her husband by summoning him to Earth for making out with him, while Kronos and his Titan brothers go into hiding to ambush his father. However, when Uranus came and arrived on Earth, Kronos and his brother immediately abused his father, and Kronos, as a final blow, immediately castrated his father's genitals with his mother's scythe. Uranus' genitals then fell into the sea, which later turned into one of the gods of Olympus. Kronos succeeded in overthrowing his father, and it made his father feel pain and angry, until Uranus predicted that Kronos would be deposed from his throne by his own son, as happened to Uranus. Kronos didn't heed his father's curse, and he didn't even free his brothers in Tartarus as his mother expected, and the world was then ruled by the Titans. Kronos himself is married to his sister, who is also a Titan named Rhea, and they have 6 children, namely Demeter, Hera, Hades, Hestia, and Poseidon, and Zeus. These children are the gods of Olympus. At first, Kronos ignored his father's prediction, but when he found out that his mother also predicted the same thing, Kronos was frightened and intended to eat all of his children to avoid the prophecy. However, Kronos didn't have time to swallow his 6th child, Zeus, because it had been hidden by Rhea after she secretly gave birth to Zeus in Crete. Upset by her husband's action, Rhea gave a stone to Kronos, who mistook the stone for his last child and swallowed it. Meanwhile, the baby Zeus was hidden in a cave on Mount Ida, on the island of Crete, and was raised by his grandmother, Gaia, the mother of Earth. When Zeus grew up, Zeus wanted to free his brothers and sister in the belly of his father Kronos, and then went to face him. There, initially, Zeus disguised himself as a follower of his father, and Zeus managed to deceive his father by offering him a potion that would make his father strong. The potion was a gift for Metis, who is a Neem race. When Kronos drank it, Kronos didn't even get strong, and even made himself weak temporarily, and it made him vomit his children's, Zeus' brothers and sisters. Zeus and his brothers also managed to free Cyclops and Hecate on Ceres, where they were Kronos' brothers. To repay his kindness, Cyclops made a special weapon for Zeus and his brother, which would later be used to fight against the Titans and overthrow the Kronos government. Cyclops made a lightning for Zeus, trident for Poseidon, and helm of darkness for Hades, until there was a great war between the gods and the Titan. This battle is called Titanomachy. The Titanomachy war lasted for 12 years, until finally the gods won this war, and Zeus and his brothers immediately imprisoned his father Kronos and other Titans to Tartarus. After Titan was successfully imprisoned, Zeus and his brothers had to face the Typhoon, son of Gaia and Tartarus, a giant dragon with 100 heads and considered as the father of all monsters. Typhoon tried to oppose the regime of Olympus, and Zeus opposed it until finally there was a great fight between Zeus and Typhoon. Unfortunately, Zeus' brothers didn't dare to fight Typhoon until Zeus has to face it alone. At first, Zeus was very difficult to against him, but finally he managed to defeat Typhoon and lock him into Tartarus. After the Great War ended, began the era of the gods, or the Olympus period, and this is where Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon share power, where Zeus got the throne in the sky, Poseidon got his kingdom in the sea, and Hades became the ruler and guard in the underworld. Zeus himself founded his kingdom on the holy mountain, Mount Olympus, and officially became the king of the gods, because he was considered the most powerful gods if compared to Poseidon and Hades. At the same time, Uranus' genitals in the sea turned into the goddess Aphrodite. Zeus married Hera and Demeter and other divine beings, and gave birth to the next generation of Olympian gods, namely Apollo, Athena, Ares, Artemis, Hephaestus, Persephone, and Hermes. In Greek mythology, there are about 12 gods of Olympus, and each of them has a different personality, aspect, symbol, and role, especially in governing nature, and all forms of concepts and aspects of life that occur on earth and the sky. First is Zeus, the god of thunder and the lord of the sky. Second is Hera, the goddess of marriage and birth. The third is Poseidon, the god of the sea and the lord of the ocean. Fourth is Apollo, god of light, music, and archery. Fourth is Artemis, goddess of the hunt and hills and wilderness. Fifth is Ares, god of war and battlefield. Sixth is Athena, goddess of wisdom and war. Seventh is Hephaestus, god of blacksmith, metallurgy, and volcanoes. Eighth is Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beauty, and lust. The ninth is Hermes, the god of messengers, thieves, fraudsters, and commerce. Next, there's a Demeter, the goddess of harvest, rains, and fertility. Then there's a Hestia, the goddess of the fireplace, fire, order, and family. The last is Dionysus, the god of wine, feast, and resurrection. Hades is actually one of the first generation of the Olympians, as well as Persephone, the daughter of Demeter and Zeus. So the question is, why are they not categorized as one of the 12? The answer is because their position and status as the guardians and rulers in the underworld, that far from the existence of Mount Olympus in the sky, while the other gods and goddesses that I mentioned earlier settled on that mountain until they were included in the 12 gods of Olympus. So, that was the origin of the Olympian gods. If you have any perspective, questions, and some recommendations about mythological topics or new content, please write them in the comment section below. And if you really enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like and subscribe to support this channel. In that way, you will also get notifications of my latest video, and this channel will continue to grow. Alright? Thank you and see you again in my next content.